What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Real Reds Talk, an authentic football fan channel made in Manchester. The topics from today, and we've got some big ones. Players hit back at the pundits, not just with the performances on the pitch, but a couple of interesting quotes as well. What are the plans for the international break? Where are the players going? Who's going out on it? Who's staying? Who's coming back into the team? We'll talk all about that. We've just had news released that season ticket prices are going up by 5%. We'll talk about that and Must's reaction as well. And also the strikers search begins. We had news coming in from Sky Germany in relation to 4 targets. And I want to get your take on who you would want this summer. So let's start off with the players hitting back. So basically, for the past, 3-4 months, I want to say, players like Bruno Fernandes, players like Mateus, players like Joshua Zirkzees have come under criticism quite heavily from ex-players, right? And people in the media, Talk Sports, Sky Sports, etc. And as a fan, and I'm sure you guys agree, some of it has been warranted because the performances has been nowhere near it. The league position suggests that. We've just been way off it. So it's not even a conversation. They have been bad at times. So do I have a problem with these pundits coming out and saying that? No, I have no issue with any form of criticism, especially if it's coming from someone like Roy Keane or Paul Scholes, who have won, between 8 and 13 Premier League titles, done everything there is in the game, won Champions Leagues, done it consistently at a high level. Obviously, they have their opinion matters and their opinion counts, right? Do I think they can overdo it sometimes? Do I think they know they're in the media and they know what certain things gets clicks? Do I think Jamie Carragher, Gary Neville, Roy Keane all do the same thing? They know what's going to get a bit of a bite. They know what's going to get a reaction, and that's what Sky want from them, and that's what they do at times. And I think they over-egg it a little bit, especially with Manchester United. And United players are always a feature in the English media. Hated, adored, ignored, all that kind of stuff. Never ignored, should I say. Certain individual have been more than others, though, right? So let's just say, for comparison, Ugarte, you don't really hear much about him. He just kind of gets on with it. People don't really bring him into the forefront and talk about him a lot. I'm trying to think of any others who don't really get criticised or who's just come in, who's moved, who we've bought. Lenny Yorrell's a young kid, so again, they're going to take it a little bit easy with him. But there are, I just don't know, I just feel like there are certain targets who get picked out. And obviously Bruno Fernandes being one of the biggest ones. Now, I've got a stat for you guys here. You guys know I love my stats, right? Since Roy Keane had that big outburst about Bruno Fernandes on Stick to Football where he was calling him a bluffer and, all this kind of stuff. That was on the 27th of February, right? Since then, since that day before, he's got an assist for the winner against Ipswich for Harry Maguire. He scored the only goal of the game against Fulham in the FA Cup tie, which obviously we got knocked out on penalties, but scored his penalty as well. Scored the only goal against Arsenal, which was a free kick. Scored a hat-trick against Real Sociedad, which was, I think you guys would agree again, our biggest game of the season. Got 1 goal and 2 assists yesterday against Leicester as well. So in total, that's 6 goals and 3 assists in 6 games, plus 2 man-of-the-match performances as well, by the way, on top of that, since Roy Keane had that outburst. What a way to answer your critics. And even when he got asked about it yesterday on Sky Sports, he was like, listen, I respect Roy Keane's opinion. I think he's a phenomenal player, phenomenal captain, no bad words. If that's what he thinks of me, that's his opinion. I'll do the talking on the pitch, mate. That is the best possible reply you could have had. Genuinely, the best reply you could have done. 6 goals and 3 assists in 6 games. Thank you very much. Yeah, mic drop. See you in a bit. Walk off. Let's continue that now towards the end of the season. But Bruno Fernandes right now for me has been incredible. I think he's the best number 10 in the league on form at the moment. De Bruyne's fell off the face of a cliff. Cole Palmer's in shit form at the moment. Ødegaard, Arsenal fans are absolutely whinging about him. I think he's the best 10 in the league at the moment, and I'll argue that with anyone. He's turning up consistently in this shit Man United team, which he has been doing. We've said that about him for years. Look, he has his bits, and the start of the season, I was asking questions from him. I'm saying, why is he not delivering in the big games? Why is he not turning up? When we're getting beat 3-0 by the likes of Liverpool and these kind of games. But you have to say, since, a good few months now, he has been consistently bagging, assisting, dragging the team, organising them on the pitch. What more do you want from a captain, genuinely? So, yeah, Bruno Fernandes, I wanted to bring that up he's hitting back at the pundits, but he's hitting back by performances on the pitch. And like Bruno Fernandes, Mateus de Ligt is another one who's caught strays from pundit like Paul Scholes, saying multiple times he doesn't rate him. Why has he played for all these big clubs and he's ended up at United? And loads of other stuff, right? You can go into it. It's all on the overlap on the fan debate there when he's spoken about him. But I think, granted, with Mateus de Ligt, the first couple of months was shaky in it. Like, he had the odd moment where he's stepping in to try and win the ball and he gets beat and he turns him and he's kind of running back towards his own goal. Or I think it was a game against Southampton, Kyle Walker-Peters, where he was kind of struggling to get back. He slid and then Kyle Walker-Peters just kind of stepped past him and put the ball into the box. Things like that. There's been moments of him where you've gone, I'm not sure. I'm not entirely sure. I think probably from, I want to say November time-ish, I think he's improved a lot. I really, really do. I think his leadership is something that isn't spoken about a lot. Carl Anka made a great point on Talk of the Devils about him leading young centre-backs next to him. Lenny Yoro, 18. Aiden Heaven, 7, Jesus. That would be impressive, wouldn't it? 17 or 18 either side, and him being that key figure in there who's going, look, lads, listen to me. He's probably had a word with Aiden Heaven before the game and said, listen to me. I've played for Ajax, I've played for Juventus, I've played for Bayern Munich, and I'm playing for Manchester United. The biggest club in each country there. Facts, right? And I've started from multiple times, played in Champions League games, played everywhere. My experience, even though I'm 24 years old, is up there. I've worked with Chiellini and Bonucci and these guys, So his experience is right up there. So I think I thought that was such a great point because he is a perfect example for these young lads coming up. He could be like, listen, there's going to be periods where you might have a bit of a drop-off. There's going to be periods in a game where you might make a mistake. This is all part of football. It's part and parcel, right? I've been here, I've experienced it. Let me guide you through the game. That is something that doesn't get noticed. Bruno Fernandes will get a goal and assist. It picks up the headlines because it's a goal. Goals just do. That's facts. If de Ligt guides someone in the game where he's managed to cover the space and get him in just in time to make that kind of last-ditch tackle or anything, it won't get covered as much because defenders and attackers, it's just the nature of the game, right? But things like that don't get spotted. Also, the fact that he's chipped in with a couple of goals as well from set pieces when we needed it. He is a threat aerially. He seems like he's getting used to the Premier League now. He's becoming a figure in that back line and a consistent figure as well. There was worries about his injuries when he first came in. And touch wood, I don't want to be that guy to curse it, but so far, he's been sweet. He's been absolutely sweet. So, yeah, I think he's proving people wrong as well. And if we bring in a stats comparison here, so I've compared this against, who would you say is the best centre-backs in the league, right? Just so I'm not bringing out players to kind of fit my narrative for comparison. Konate, Van Dijk, Saliba, Gabriel. They're probably the 4 go-to ones, aren't they, that you go to. Maybe you chuck Ruben Diaz in there, Van der Ven, you can go through them. But they're the standout centre-backs in the league. And so we'll go to aerial duels first. Obviously, Konate is a big lad and Van Dijk's bigger than de Ligt. So the chance of them winning more aerial duels doesn't surprise me at all. But this is per night here. Konate's 82%, by the way, which is fucking crazy. 82% aerial duel. That is like, probably, I would go as far to say it's probably the best in Europe, or one of the best in Europe. Virgil van Dijk, 71%. De Ligt, 63%. Now, on average in the Premier League, between 60 and 70% is very good level for winning your aerial duels. When you get to 50, it's kind of like, nah. Anything below that, you're like, no. And above 70 is elite. And these two I'm speaking about, Van Dijk and Konate, are two of the very best in the air. So he holds his own there, I would say. Ground duels, Saliba, 71%, De Ligt, 63%, Gabriel, Arsenal, 50%, and Konate, 57% as well. Again, above 70 is elite, Saliba kind of region, 60 to 70, very, very good, and De Ligt is 63%. Interceptions, De Ligt totals of 1.7 per 90, and between 1.5 and 2 is very, very good standard. Above 2 is elite. Van Dijk averages, 2.5. We are seeing a reoccurring theme here, but Saliba averages 0.8 interceptions per game. And again, there's context to offer to that, because it might be like, well, Arsenal have more of the ball in the majority of games. Liverpool are more end-to-end. You can bring all that in, that's fine. These are just pure defending statistics. If we go to on the ball, Mateus de Ligt has an 87% pass completion rate, Van Dijk has 88, and Gabriel has 89. So he's mixing in the elites in that department as well. Really, really good on the ball. And I think he's starting to expand his kind of range on the ball as well. Long range, mid-range, short range. which we've seen switches of play. I can't remember what game it was recently. It might have been Arsenal. It might have been a game before that, where he's picking the ball up on the right-hand side, kind of like right half space, and just switching to wingers every time the ball was on to Dalot, I think it was. So, yeah, he's showing his range there, and I think with the defence at United constantly chopping and changing, and is it Heaven is it Yoro, is it Lindelof, is it Maguire, is it Mazraoui, is it, we've had about a million different partnerships at the back. There's no consistency there whatsoever, and he's still wherever you put him, left side, centre, right side, he'll do a job. And for £40 million, I think he's been an absolute rock at the back for us. I really do. People will allude to the fact of the results that we've had. I'm talking about as an individual. I think he's contributed quite a lot, and he's been really, really good. So he's another one who said, "You know what, Paul Scholes? I think I've kind of shut you up a little bit." And I think Paul Scholes even admitted that a little bit after the Sociedad game. I think it may have been. So yeah, happy about that. Joshua Zirkzees, another one. Again, we were all critical of this. I suppose some of us over-egged it a little bit with Zirkzees when he first started. It just goes to show that having patience in the game can be welcome sometimes, because people just want everything now within a week or a day. Why is he not playing good? Why is he not? Let him climatise to the league. Let him get used to it. See what happens. Similar thing happened with Manuel Ugarte and the Ten Hag. He came in, everyone was like, no, not a fit. Don't like him. Not for me. Gabriel Bongalho took to TalkSport to say he can't even control the ball. Doesn't suit the Premier League, too slow. You had Neil Custard from the Sun saying he's overweight. Like, he's too stiff, overweight. Again, a load of nonsense coming from Neil Custard, which is funny, innit, I suppose. But, yeah, now we've seen in the league, FA Cup, bullying the likes of Gabriel, Saliba, making them fall over each other, nutmegging players left, right, and centre. There's a period in the Sociedad game where it got lumped up to him, brought it down perfectly like Velcro, nutmegged the player, and then skipped past another one. And at first, we saw him kind of initially deployed as a number 9, right, as an out-and-out striker, which isn't really his forte, and he couldn't really find his feet. Amarin's kind of shifted him to that inside 10 now, on that left-hand side where he works really well with Patrick Dorgu, and he's leveraged that kind of creative ability and ball control, which in general enhances the whole team dynamic in how we play, and you're starting to find more balance in the forward line now. And just goes to show, don't write a fucking player off after 2 weeks. Don't do it, because it will come back to bite you in the ass. Now, again, we want a balanced kind of strategic opinion on this. He's not getting enough output at the moment. What he's doing on the ball, the silky skills, the nutmegs, dribbling, linking up, that's all nice, good and well, right? But you still need more in your locker if you're playing for Manchester United. 6 goals and 2 assists in 40 games isn't enough. You need to improve that. But if he ups that to Mason Mount levels at Chelsea, where you're talking like 10 goals and 10 assists, job's a good one. I think that's a good signing. Again, another one, £30 million we paid for Zirkzees, plus, there was an agent bonus or something, wasn't there? But you're probably talking around 35 million quid, which is another good deal if he starts putting in them figures, for me personally. So all these players who've been slagged off religiously, week in, week out, all this pressure that's mounting on them, I think it's time for them, just for today or whatever, to give them their flowers and just say, do you know what, lads? You have done pretty fucking well, all things considered. But just continue it, please, so we don't review this video in 6 months' time and say, do you remember you saying Zirkzees was really good and Bruno was, one of the best 10s in the league, and now they're fucking doing shit? Unfortunately, that is the football cycle, innit? It just is. That's the way the cookie crumbles. So I'm willing to put my neck out on the line for these players, because we are called supporters and we should support them. Let's part the discussion on that for the moment. I want to talk about international break. Boo, boring, sneeze, yawn. Do whatever you want. Find whatever you can to find time to cover it, because I can't stand international breaks. I know you got Thomas Tuchel at the helm if you are English, so there's something to kind of hold on to if you want a little bit of excitement, I suppose. But for Manchester United, of course, things at Old Trafford are set to change, right? Because you've got a lot of players who are going to stay with the club. Just pure reasons, whether it's injuries, fitness, the national teams haven't called them up because of the form or what have you. Yes, I'm drinking out of a 1.5 litre of Fanta lemon. Deal with it. Excuse me. So that's probably a sign of an indication where we're at as a club at the moment with Manchester United. But Could also be beneficial for the manager, who spoke at his press conference. He was talking about how the players are extremely tired and he needs to kind of figure out a program. And this means that there's going to be players at Carrington, but they're kind of going to be divided, right? So you've got players like Mason Mount and Luke Shaw, who clearly need to work on the fitness levels, spend all the time doing that. I think Amarin mentioned Toby Collier as well. Obviously, I know he got a couple of minutes yesterday, but I need to step that up, get it back to 90 minutes a game. Harry Maguire, Kobe Mainu as well are other ones that need to kind of increase the fitness. And then these players as well who are going to need kind of more rest days in general, given the way the the way the fixture congestion's been. They've just been, especially someone like Mazraoui, who's been literally playing on an empty stomach, which is just fucking madness. I think it's going to be interesting to see actually who starts when we've got everyone available. If Mainu, Maguire, Mount, Shaw, Yoro, all these players come back. I mean, Ahmad's even rumoured to come back in April, start of April. So it's nice to have depth, first and foremost. Don't get it twisted. It's definitely nice to have depth. But then who's going to be the starters in there? Who would you start? I think if everyone's fit and available right now, wow, it's a tricky one. I think Onana, even though I'm reluctant to say that because I still think we should go and get a goalkeeper in the summer. Oh, it's tricky, this. I think Yoro, Ligt, Martinez, Ahmad, Bruno, Ugarte, Dorgu, Garnacho, Zirkzees, Højlund. I think I'd like to see that team. If you're going to go for it, Ahmad at wing back, Garnacho on there. You've got your direct threat. Zirkzees dropping in. The fluidity in that formation, really, really nice. Dorgu as well, starting to come into his own now. And you've got a blend of experience. Even Mazraoui could play in one of those left-sided or right-sided centre-halves. I think he's been really good. But I think Ligt, Lissandro, and Yoro would be really nice to see. Heaven's done really well as well. So, but obviously he's injured at the moment, isn't he? So that's who I'd go with. Let us know in the comment section who you would change or if you agree with that team. And look, we're going to have to make the most of this break because when we return, we have got a grueling set of fixtures, people. We've got, it starts with an away trip to Nottingham Forest, who are absolutely flying at the moment and playing really, really well. I'm sure Elanga's got the bit between his teeth to perform well there. Then we've got games against Manchester City, Newcastle, and Wolves, which sandwiches the two legs of the quarterfinal clash against Lyon. So they're difficult, really, really tough games. And then even then, the last 5 games of the season, Bournemouth, Brentford, West Ham, Chelsea, Aston Villa. Difficult. The positive, I suppose, is it feels like there's a bit of momentum now and confidence, and the players are getting used to Amarin's system, and we're starting to find the right balance, whether that be moving Garnacho over to the right-hand side, Bruno's permanent position in the 2 in midfield. Højlund's got a goal. Could that spark a bit of confidence? Dorgu will be back because you don't need to serve a suspension anymore, so it offers us more natural width. And Dallow's better on the right-hand side as a wing-back anyway. So, yeah, there's bits there that you can hold on to. But, I don't know. I almost feel like it's come at the wrong time, the international break. Højlund's just scored. You've just started winning some games. And it's like, yeah, go away for 2 weeks, come back, start off again, bit slow. And you can really find yourself in a bit of a rut if you don't start off right because you've got tough games. I mean, Newcastle are going to be flying because they've just won the Carabao Cup. City's always a tough game. Although I think it's at Old Trafford as well, isn't it? And Wolves as well is tough as well. We already lost them in December. So, yeah, interesting times, but we've got a few weeks to kind of sit on that and break it down and talk through the games. So, again, we'll move on the discussion to this season ticket stuff that's ongoing because we had news a couple of hours ago. Andy Mitten released it first, I believe, that Manchester United confirmed that season ticket prices for the 25-26 season will increase by around 5%, which is an average of £2.50 per game. There will be a freeze on season tickets for under 16s, which I think Sir Jim Ratcliffe said there was going to be more rises in the interview, didn't it? So people were kind of expecting it. I don't think it's like shocking news. But yeah, there's a 5% price increase for most season tickets. Premium games are priced at a higher level. And I think they're doing something in regards to relocating fans behind dugouts to sell premium seats there, basically, and charge more for them, a couple of £100 or whatever. So, yeah, I don't know if this is state increasing season ticket or the minimum usage requirement to 16, 19 league games. United will move some fans from behind the seats, behind the dugouts, to turn them into hospitality areas, reflecting the high value of this unique location. The club says it appreciates the disruption this will cause those fans and will ensure a suitable alternative seat is found for them. So obviously there's going to be an uproar about this. They've already raised the individual ticket prices. Season tickets, another one as well. Do you know what? When they phrase it like £2.50, it makes it sound like nothing, doesn't it? But have they released the figures how much they're going to make from this, from making these cuts? That'd be interesting to see how much that figure is, and the fact that they've gone with the £2.50 per game or per individual rather than the, you know, approximate total of everything that's ongoing. I'm not a season ticket holder. I've been on the list for about 4 or 5 years, waiting for one, so it doesn't affect me directly. But again, I can absolutely understand the frustration behind this, especially when you've been watching what you've been watching on the pitch, because you're paying premium prices for not premium football is a nice way to call it. So I get the outrage from it. I think there's going to be more stuff like this, to be honest with you, going into for the rest of the year. I think there's going to be bits and bobs that people are just not happy with. And unfortunately, look, we can make our voices heard. I mean, I was at the protest myself. You've got Must, the supporters group. You've got 1958 who vocalised their concerns as well, and I'm sure they'll continue to do so. And again, as a channel, as a platform, we really, really appreciate that. It's hard for me to have a say on it in terms of it, because I'm not a season ticket holder, so it doesn't, you know, in that regard, but I still think it's ridiculous, some of the decisions that Ineos are making, but I can't change them, unfortunately. I cannot change them. Do let me know if in the comments if you are a season ticket holder or regular. Just talk to us, man. Drop us a message. Get it in the comments. I want to hear your views on it, for sure. Summer's going to be a really interesting time for us. Whatever way you look at it, whatever lens you want to go through, whether it's you know, not season tickets, whether it's pre-season, what's going to go on there, whether it's the summer budget, how much are we going to spend, what players are going to leave, what other cuts are they going to make, you know, over the summer as well. It's a big summer. I know we always say it, and it's very cliche to say, it's like the biggest summer ever. They're going to have to get this one right. But because we've got so many summers wrong, this one feels really, really important, doesn't it? Amarin's chance to actually bring players in to work with Wilcox closely and identifies these talents and improve us as a team. And I've got faith in them both, to be honest with you. I do, genuinely. I think they can. I think both of them, I trust them recruitment-wise to get it right. So I'm interested to see us go in a different direction, lean more towards these talented young players rather than going for the obvious star. And this leads into the last bit of the show. Coming out from Sky Sports in Germany, that United are closely monitoring Hugo, I can never pronounce his name, Ekitike, is that how you say it? Hugo Ekitike, the French forward, and Benjamin Sesko to bolster their attacks. Talks have already begun with some summer targets. Viktor Gyökeres and Victor Osimhen remain high on their list. Now, we know with Gyökeres, I think it was Laurie Whitwell who reported that it's unlikely he'll be joining Manchester United. He wants Champions League football, and there are other clubs that are interested in, which surprised me because I thought with him playing in Amarin's system, that would have been a tap-in for £60-70 million. But again, we'll have to wait for updates on that and see how that kind of develops. And Osimhen's another one who's going to be a similar price, similar age range, doing well for Galatasaray, has got the numbers out there for Napoli. He's great pressing, he's physical, he's good, he's a very good striker. Osimhen's there, right? There's a deal to be done, and his agent was reporting about, deals to the Premier League, and he's really, really interested. So that is definitely one that we can go and attack. But these other two are more kind of younger, up-and-coming strikers. The question is, do we need another up-and-coming striker to add to a Zirkzee and a Højlund? What if we bring in a Sesko and Ekitike? Fucking can't say his name. What happens if we bring them in and it's like, well, they're raw, they've got to develop. But it's like, well, fucking hell, we've got two strikers there who, I know Zirkzee is playing more as a 10 now, but we need now premium, not, 29, 30, 5-year contracts, 400 grand a week. Bring in someone like, if you can, I think Osimhen wants a similar wage that reflects what he's at Napoli, right? So 190k a week. That's not bad. That's less than Antony, that's less than Maguire, that's less than Mount. it's not bad 190 grand a week, and he will deliver in the Premier League. I'm convinced of that. Gyökeres will be the same. He's not going to be on mega bucks as well. So I think, me personally, I think those deals are doable. I would rather go for one of them two because they are proven. They've done it in the Champions League. These other two as well. Sesko, I'm a massive fan of, by the way. I think if we already had a premium striker, I would be screaming from the hills to sign Benjamin Sesko. Go back and watch the videos I've done 2 years ago on Sesko. He's a talented kid. And we've scouted him for a long, long time. And I'm a huge fan of him. But again, it's a young lad where it's like, what happens if they don't deal with the pressure? And we've just spent another 60 million quid on a striker. The proven is there. Go and get it. Go get Osimhen, Gyökeres. You still get 5 years out of him and still sell them on for a bit of change. Yeah. I think that's the right decision to do. So I hope they go and do that. But, yeah, I mean, from now until the summer, we're going to be linked with about 1,000 strikers that we're closely monitoring or we're looking at. Or, oh, look at this guy. It's just the nature of the transfer business, isn't it, I suppose. Anyway, I'll leave it at that, guys. Appreciate every single one of you if you're still watching towards the end. If you are, get a comment in. Love art, football symbol, whatever it is, just to let us know you stuck around. Please do subscribe to the channel. We are currently on 13,284 subs. If you haven't subscribed yet, what are you doing? What are you doing with your life? Please do subscribe. We've got plenty of content out on the channel. Go and check it out, and I'll check you guys out in the next one.